What is up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about 3 benefits that really saved my legs when I initially transitioned into minimalist or barefoot shoes. When I was growing up in high school and in college and then the early parts of my military career, I always had problems with really bad shin splints and knee problems and some feet problems. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I never played sports. I never had a coach. I never ran track or anything like that. So I really didn't have a good base knowledge. The only really thing that I did was, somewhat free ran at night with my friends, climbing up buildings that we probably shouldn't have been climbing up. But I was really active and I ran a lot. And then when I was actually getting ready for the military, I really started upping my mileage for running. And that's really when those knee problems flared up a lot, and especially the shin splints. I could remember nights where it just felt like there was fire on all of my lower legs and my feet were absolutely destroyed. I would work myself up to a certain amount of mileage and then my knees and my shins would let go and I would have to take, a week or 2 weeks off just for them to recover, and then I could get back into training. Because I was in the military and our op tempo was so high, the training cycle was so, so crazy. We're constantly doing stuff. I had to slowly transition into minimalist shoes, and it took about 6 months to a year almost to actually get into minimalist shoes properly. I didn't want to just, slap on a pair of Merrell shoes or just take off my shoes and start running, 5 to 10 miles. I wanted to do it right so I didn't get injured. And that was a big part of that book, Born to Run, is transitioning properly. So I went from like an 8 millimeter, which is generally a normal drop for like racing shoes, Brooks and everything like that. Dropped it down to a 6 millimeter, and I think that was like a Nike. And then the last shoe that I actually wore was the Nike Free. I think that was like in 2011. And the Nike Free only had like a 2 or 4 millimeter drop. And that was the last shoe with a drop that I actually wore. And then I transitioned into the New Balance Minimalist shoes. And then eventually my main go-to shoe was the Merrell Trail gloves. Started with the Merrell Trail gloves 3 or 4. And then I actually ended up running my first 100K and the Grindstone 100 in the Merrell Trail Gloves 5s. And then my backup pair was the Merrell Trail Gloves 4. So moving on to the benefits of transitioning to minimalist shoes, the number one benefit 100% is form. I almost immediately started feeling my form changing when I started taking away some of that cushioning. I was 100% a notorious heel striker. My heel would hit and all that pressure would go straight into my shins, straight into my knees. And after a long training block, my lower legs were absolutely destroyed. With minimalist shoes, I noticed that I was a lot more cognizant on how my foot was striking and how that pressure was actually being distributed through my legs. So my foot strike got a lot lighter and everything got a lot more efficient. Now, I know form and foot strike is a debated topic online and in the racing community, but for me, I felt a really big difference transitioning from a heel striker to a midfoot striker. There's this crazy marathon runner. I'm pretty sure he runs like a 220, that right up there with the elites, and he is a pretty big heel striker. But how your body mechanics move and how your body adapted to your actual running, it really matters from person to person. With me, heel striking does not mix because it just absolutely destroys my legs. It also actually forced me to sit up straighter or stand up straighter when I'm running and not sit in the saddle, just because when you're like crunched over and you're sitting in the saddle, you're more likely to overextend and hit that heel strike. So overall, my form really got stronger and a lot more efficient. So I was standing up stronger, engaging my core, engaging my glutes, and striking with my midfoot. So just my form in general got a lot better. just from taking away some of that cushion. I felt a lot lighter. I felt a lot more powerful, and I felt my legs getting stronger and stronger as I transitioned into minimalist shoes. And that leads us into the second benefit, and that's just overall muscular strength in your legs, in your knees, in your shins, in your ankles, in your feet. With the change in the form, it kind of leads to with with the change in the form also engages those different muscles. When you change your form, you're actually engaging different muscles in your legs and your feet. I felt my feet themselves actually getting stronger. If if you think about it, or if you look in a chart, your feet are pretty much muscles. Your longer, all those little metatarsal things, I don't know, will actually get a lot stronger because they can actually naturally move in your foot. So when you're running, your feet will naturally want to grip and then push off to get the max amount of force generated to push you forward in a running motion. And a lot of times, or at least when, or how I feel in my shoes, when I wear really cushioned shoes, it just kind of squeezes my toes together. And instead of that gripping motion, it's more of a hit and then push, which they make a lot more efficient with carbon plates and heel drop and everything like that. My feet and my ankles and my shins and my calves and everything were able to get a lot stronger in a natural running form. So I never really had a problem with plantar fasciitis or shin splints since I actually transitioned into minimalist shoes. I do still have some problems with my knees, but that might be because I was jumping out of airplanes and then, running with a kid on and doing all this stuff overseas, and then not taking care of my legs properly after actually doing all that stuff. So I'm 100% sure that people can be in the military and jump out of planes and have really strong legs. It's just as a young guy, as a 21-year-old, I wasn't doing my ice baths. I wasn't doing my active recovery, rolling out, or anything like that. So my knees really suffered because of my own stupidity. However, my knees are a hell of a lot stronger after the military and all these ultra marathons than they were in high school and in college. And I'm pretty sure that's just because I took the time to build up all the muscles around my knees. So it's not as much of a problem than it was when they were not trained properly and not fortified. I'm really, really making an effort still to this day to try to fortify my knees and other joints so they're nice and healthy and they can help me climb up mountains. In general, minimalist shoes have really helped strengthen the smaller muscles in my legs and feet just because they have to make up for the lack of cushioning. So you have to, once again, you're more cognizant of your foot strike, you're more cognizant of your form, and that strengthens all those stabilizer muscles and all those smaller muscles that kind of take a break when they have cushioning to absorb all that pressure when you're running through the mountains or you're running on pavement. So last and final benefit of minimalist shoes is money. 100% money. I've been really feeling this season just because I've been kind of transitioning back into some more cushion with ultras. They're still zero drop, but they have a lot more cushion. I've been really feeling my wallet screaming at me because I've been spending so much money on freaking shoes. As active people and ultra marathon runners and marathoners or just general runners, we're always blowing out our shoes and having to pay $120, $200 or more for new shoes every couple months. With minimalist shoes, that's exactly what they are. They're minimalist, so there's not a lot that can go wrong. As long as you have grip on the bottom of your shoes and shoelaces, you basically have a working pair of shoes. I mean, I'm pretty sure my freaking minimalist shoes lasted about 3 times the amount as the traditional shoes with foam and all the extra crap that could go wrong. You don't have to worry about your midsole wearing out. You don't have to worry about the foam like being too compressed or anything like that. It's pretty much just a piece of rubber that you strap to your foot and you're good to go. I did my whole ultra marathon season in 2019 with 2 pairs of Merrell trail gloves. I mean, I think I ended up running around 1,700 to 2,000 miles total that season. And those shoes made it through that entire time with the races included. On top on top of that, minimalist shoes are generally a little bit cheaper than most traditional shoes just because they have to use a lot less material. I think the trail gloves were about $95 to $110. And then I think the most expensive ones were the New Balance Minimalist. I think those ran like 120 to 130. So minimalist shoes, you just spend a lot less freaking money. I actually still wear my Merrell Trail Gloves 4 that were my backups for the Grindstone 100 in 2019 as my day-to-day shoes, just kind of walking around, hiking, like shorter hikes and everything like that. So those shoes probably have around 800 miles on them, and they're still going strong. Couple cuts on the side and a little bit of grip loss, but they're still good. But 100%, if you are tight on money and you don't want to be spending money over and over again for shoes, if you want to transition into minimalist shoes, they're 100% going to save you a lot of money. And I am really, really starting to miss that right now. So yeah, those are the three big benefits I took away from transitioning into minimalist shoes. And I solely wore minimalist shoes for about 8 years straight. I didn't wear anything with any drop for 8 years. And even in my first season of ultra marathon, doing 100K, doing the Grindstone 100, I only wore minimalist shoes. I'm only now recently starting to transition into ultras, which are, the big toe box and pretty flexible, but they do have a lot more cushion. And I'm just doing that just to get a little bit more cushioning and protection for my feet. That is one bad thing, I guess you would say, if you're not fully, or your feet aren't fully developed, is you have a lot less protection from the trail when you are wearing minimalist shoes, because once again, it's basically just a piece of rubber and it's trying to protect you from pointy rocks and branches or whatever may be left on the actual trail. So I've been transitioning more into ultra shoes, but definitely 100% zero drop and a wide toe box are my jam. That's the one big thing, or that's the only kind of shoes that I will wear and that I feel comfortable. I've been doing some reviews and trying out some shoes with drop, like the Endorphin Pros and everything like that. And my feet just always suffer in them. I always get so many blisters from my toes getting crunched together. It's just not my jam. Definitely ultras and minimalist shoes are are still the way for me. Other than that, I greatly benefited from wearing and transitioning to minimalist shoes. I have never had any problems with plantar fasciitis or shin splint since, and my knees have felt so much better. So there we have it. Those were the three benefits of running in minimalist shoes. It's focusing on your form, it's strengthening your knees and getting rid of those shin splints, and then saving on money. We're going to be doing a lot more talks on minimalist shoes, shoe reviews. I got a bunch of races. I got the Mid-State Massive coming in October. I got a bunch more training. So make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe. I got a lot more content coming. If you have any questions or concerns or anything that is on your mind, you can pop in on our Monday live stream or drop a comment below. If you have any experience with minimalist shoes, or you are a minimalist shoe runner, and a minimalist shoe ultra marathon runner, I know I've seen a couple guys in 5-finger toe shoes just blow past me in 100 milers, and they absolutely crush it. So if you have any experience with minimalist shoes, or you ran any ultra marathons or even 5Ks, drop a comment below and tell us how you benefited running in minimalist shoes and why you are sticking with it. Other than that, make sure that you're slowly chipping away, becoming an average savage. Consistency is king. So make sure you're going out there every single day and absolutely crushing it. Even when you're resting, you're recovering, so you can come back stronger, fitter, and more powerful. Destroy those mountains, destroy those roads, destroy your computer, whatever you need to fucking do. Just get out there and crush it. Let's go.